Tonight, once again, we gather in search of the truth, dark, and mystery. It's the Drunk Turkey Show.
Big development today in the investigation into the murders of 4 University of Idaho students. According to state and local officials and court documents, 28-year-old Bryan Christopher Kohberger has been arrested. He was arrested and arraigned this morning in Pennsylvania.
We have new details on what Bryan Kohberger was doing right before his arrest. Police says a tactical team burst in to arrest the Idaho murder suspect. He was in pajamas and latex gloves, stuffing trash into Ziploc bags.
Hey, greetings from the year 3000. It still sucks. This is Philip J. Fry, and you're listening to the Drunken Turkey Show. Your one stop for this sort of thing. Hit that button, like and subscribe. You know what to do, just like every other podcast.
You guys know what to do, just like every other podcast. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the DT Show. I'm Daniel, and today we're going back into the Bryan Kohberger case. We're going to be looking at some photos that have been released here recently and from FOIAs and things of that nature. From Bryan Kohberger, a lot of selfies we're going to go through. I'm going to have Dr. Vona join us here in a second, and she's going to help us, kind of understand what it is that we're seeing and what may be going through the mind of a Bryan Kohberger during the times in which he's taking these pictures. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring that notification bell. You guys know what to do. Without further ado, let's bring in Dr. Vona. How's it going, doctor? How are you doing tonight?
I'm good, Daniel. How are you?
I'm doing well, it was a long weekend, unfortunately for me, and my team lost, and I don't want to talk about it. And
mine won, so
well, I was glad yours did. I dislike the Chiefs more than I dislike the Eagles. I don't really dislike the Eagles, but yeah, I do dislike the Chiefs. So I was glad that was the outcome there.
I was getting nervous for a minute.
Were you there? Were you? I didn't get a chance to watch it. I heard it had a pretty exciting ending.
It definitely was. It was awesome.
There you go.
We won. That's all that matters.
That's what matters. Let us know if you watched some football this weekend and who's your favorite team. Put it in the comment section. Put it in the live feed. If you're watching live, if you're watching this on the replay, let me know who you go for. I want to see where everybody's fans are. If they watch football, if not, just let me know where you're coming in from. I'm excited to know that. All right. So we've been meaning to do this for a couple of days now. There's been a lot of news that has populated here recently in the Charlie Kirk assassination. And we've been covering that for the most part. But we wanted to get back into Bryan Kohberger and into some of these images. One quick update I do have is that don't be surprised if you see anything against WSU from one of the families. Yeah, just putting it out there. I heard a little birdie told me a little something. So I'll be talking a little bit more about that once I get some more information. And so without further ado, let's break it down. Let's get into it. So these first images that we have are screen grabs of some things that Bryan Kohberger had on his phone. I said that I predicted that he was infatuated with Patrick Bateman, the serial killer in the movie American Psycho, played by Christian Bale. I found that his tap talk sounded very similar to some of the monologues from the movie American Psycho and Patrick Bateman, preferably to wearing a mask, not having feelings or emotions, looking at people as objects, so to speak. A lot of those were there, and to me, it felt like almost inspiration. And so I'm not surprised by some of these images, but when you look at the amount, there's Ted Bundy and there's Patrick Bateman. Quite a bit of, there's other people there, and we'll go through everybody else, but according to what I found out, Patrick Bateman was inspired by Ted Bundy. What do you think about the correlation between Ted Bundy, Patrick Bateman from the movie American Psycho, and perhaps Bryan Kohberger's thoughts on the two men?
So what I think is, I too was spot on with this. If you go back to the very beginning of my content, I have a couple lives that talk about like I compare the three of them multiple times. I do think that we do need to remind people. Sorry, I think we do need to remind people that the one is a movie character. So although it was based off of, I still think that it's interesting. It just shows the fantasy part. So he's not just identifying with Bundy. He's also identifying with this fictional character, which I think says something in itself. But I've seen the correlation. Like, this is the correlation that I saw the entire time. So I feel validated when looking at this stuff.
I do too. I had a lot of people say a lot of things in my in the comment section and things of that nature.
Me too.
That I'm like, you guys need to apologize. American Psycho was released in 2000. Yeah, American Psycho would have been around. Bryan Kohberger, I think, was born in 94. And so I think when he was writing his Tappa Talks was in his mid-teens, 15, 16 years old. And so well after 2000. And, if that's the case, if he's quoting him, not maybe necessarily quoting him, but taking inspiration from Patrick Bateman at 15 years old, I'm assuming for him to write out a dialogue like that, he's probably watched the movie a few times at that point in his life.
So
what kind of
I'm sorry. I thought you were I thought you were pointing that out. My bad. Go ahead, finish.
What can that do to a young mind to watch the movie and to be inspired by it?
I am so glad you asked that. So today we were talking about the Bobo doll experiment, it's in class, which is a huge social experiment where they have the mother go in and like hit the Bobo doll and then let our kids go in to see what they do. And they hit the Bobo doll. What it shows is that even though we don't think that what we see and like video games and stuff like that, even though we might not think that they have a huge effect on us, they do, especially when you're young. So I'm not sure how young he was when he got access to this type of stuff, but it would definitely desensitize him to a lot of this. So think about if you're watching like The Godfather at 10 years old, you're going to, start to get desensitized to crime. So I would assume that the same thing would happen here. And then he has a lack of identity. So here he like sees himself in a character maybe, and that could be very like, I'm sure liberating for him who didn't have a whole lot of friends and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think it's more than sees himself inside of these characters. I think he idolizes these characters and inspires to be them. I don't think he's quite them, but I think that there's a inspiration there, in my opinion.
I don't either. I think if anything, I think we see that he wants to be Bundy. And even though he does not think this, and I don't think this either, but he fits more of like a, what was his name? The incel, even though I don't think he's an incel, but I mean, as far as like a lot of his thought processes, but he definitely strives to be Bundy 100% in my opinion.
Yeah, no, he definitely does. And there's some images that we have that we're going to be showing here in a few moments that couldn't correlate to Bundy, correlate to Patrick Bateman, and maybe some of the inspiration that he had. Some other folks that are on here are John Wayne Gacy here in the corner. You also have Ed Kemper at the top, the Golden State Killer here at the bottom. So he was definitely into other different serial offenders. And then there's this one. There's this picture of a Nazi guy who I guess done some Google research. It's and forgive me, I don't speak German. Reinhard Heydrich, and this guy was born in March 1904, died in June of 42. He was a high-ranking German SS and police official during the Nazi era, and he's considered a principal architect for the Holocaust. He was many historians regard Heydrich as one of the darkest figures in the Nazi regime. Adolf Hitler himself described him as the man with the iron heart. Interesting person for him to be looking up. Now, I think Bryan Kohberger had done some, I think he said he had done some things. I think I read in one of the notes or one of the things when they talked to one of his roommates, one of the witness statements, that Bryan Kohberger had done an ancestry type thing and that he had some German descent. Do you think there's some correlation there between him finding out recently that he has some German descent and his research into Nazis.
So definitely could, but I didn't see this picture, and all I keep seeing is Papa Roger. No,
I guess that's what I thought too. I thought that was
like,
weird
that
too.
looks like, it literally looks like he got his picture and this guy and told AI to come up with something.
Right, but Papa Rod, that picture did exist beforehand. Some XI, or I don't know what they call themselves. It was a digital artist from
Oh, so okay, got you.
2017, maybe 2018.
That's still interesting though, if that is the case. Like I'm getting like Papa Roger vibes here, but I do think so. Again, this was a real person who terrorized people. So of course I feel like he would be interested in this guy. I also think that he makes a lot of racist remarks, like in his that we know of from what people have said. Even I know that I did a whole live on one of the teachers that he had. He like made a few racist remarks. She's not, English isn't her first language. So he made a few comments, and she did a paper on Bundy. So I did a live on that, but even there, so like we see him saying racist remarks, and even he's friends with, what's her name? The Asian.
Nayanko.
Yes. And even there, I felt like she was into him and he didn't reciprocate there either. And she said she felt like she wasn't good enough for him. I'm like, I think that. So I feel like I wouldn't be surprised if we saw that like he was into this guy because he also identifies in some way.
Yeah.
What do you think?
To me, I go back to the whole ancestry thing that he was doing, and him specifically saying he had German heritage. I wouldn't be surprised if he'd done some sort of, genetic tree himself and found out that maybe perhaps he's related some form or fashion to somebody who may have been in Germany and Nazi. I'm not saying that's the case. I have no idea. This is 100% my speculation. But maybe he saw something there, and that may have added to his as to why he may think he is the way he is. Maybe that could be some sort of vindication on his own of, all right, maybe these are the reasons I have these thoughts and stuff like that. It's in my blood. Do you think there's a possibility of that?
Well, if he knew that he was of German descent, absolutely. And that's very interesting that you bring that up, because if anybody remembers being a kid, one of the identities that a lot of us are proud of is our family heritage. So like being Italian, I would be like, oh, I'm Italian. And then my Irish friend. Yeah. So we do have some pride in that. I never thought of it that way. That's interesting. I need to think more about that, but I definitely think that can have an effect. Especially, I would be so interested to see if he liked history and stuff like that. This is the other thing. When you said the thing about the ancestry thing, I don't know if people know this, but 23andMe, if you do that, they'll tell you like somebody that in history that you're directly related to. So when you said that, I got goosebumps, because in mine, it says I'm related to Ben Franklin and my husband's related to Jesse James. I'm like, why is his fun? And not that mine isn't, but it's like, mine's Ben Franklin, his is Jesse James. So could it be that this was the person, because he is part of Nazi Germany? So he might've been, somebody that would be so interesting.
Hey, yours made it on a bill. So, and
there you go. That's true. But Jesse James probably had a fun life. I don't know.
I don't know if it ended so fun for him.
No, that's true. That is true.
But for this guy who was self-absorbed and trying to always study why, in my opinion, if you look at his searches, psychopath this, sociopath that, paranoia with psychopaths, a lot of things where even back to his Tappa Talk, it felt like he was kind of self-aware of who he was. And to me, that must come from a lot of inward investigations and looking at himself and trying to cross things out. I mean, he did a lot of different things. I would not be surprised if one of the things that he studied was genetic aspect and him doing the ancestry and stuff. If he wouldn't try to, connect some dots there. Not saying that's what he did. That's just 100% my speculation, but that's what I was thinking.
And if he did do that, what irony that how he gets caught at the end. is through genealogy. So like that would be very ironic.
Well, he was arguing pretty hard that he felt that the FBI did some backdoor trickery and to find him. And I'm assuming that the reason why he's believing that is how quickly they found him and the fact that he was aware that he put himself in a DNA thing. And, I'm assuming that he probably did some research before doing that and did that in one that he thought was going to be protected from law enforcement search and seizure. And so, because that's what I think it was Heritage and that's what it says on their terms of service. But if you read, the fine print at the very back, it says unless there's some sort of like super need by law enforcement and they can justify it, that they can search it, which is kind of like the loophole that they use. And so they say up front, oh yeah, we're not going to look into it, but they have a little loophole in the back. And I think that's why he was so adamant about them looking at this loophole. And I think it had to do with connecting some dots there. Hey, they couldn't figure out who he was with the information that they had, utilizing the normal means. The FBI gets involved, and within a few days, they got his name. Must have been through the same means. You know what I mean?
Oh, 1,000%. And I also think that he was probably, had he read it better, he would have known that it's not illegal for them to give the information. They frown upon it, but you know what I mean? So if they didn't do anything illegal, and that probably had to, hit him hard, realizing that like he had no argument there.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Some more images here. He's got the homicide investigation update. There's the city of Moscow. There's a picture of the Moscow police vehicle here outside of the residence. There's the knife sheath with the knife. A few things there that are, here's the house. Nothing was out of the ordinary. So he is looking up things that are relative to the crime. In fact, there was a Nancy Grace true crime.
That's so funny.
He ends up telling people that he wasn't aware of how big it was, which tells me he's obviously a complete liar.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a lie.
And then this one's interesting. Killer caught on video. Jennifer Coffindaffer. Yeah, he's watching the one about the white Elantra or the white vehicle. And so interesting stuff. A lot
that
more
is
stuff.
So interesting and stupid, right? Because in the end, he does have the white. I don't know. I think now I will say Cuff You makes a good point. If the FBI or the cops were to look in most of our cell phones that are on here right now, we're all true crime enthusiasts. That's why we're here tonight, right? So any of our cell phones would probably look bad. The difference is it's the pattern of the things that we see on a cell phone, as far as like he looked up a lot of this stuff after the crime. And I'm sure there was stuff before, but let it know. I guess the difference too is that none of us have gone out and killed anybody. So just like with the Bobo doll experiment, you could say that there's a bunch of us that can watch violence on TV or play violent video games and will never go on to hurt anybody. But there is a small group of people that will.
And I wonder how many of you guys, let me know in the chat so we can let law enforcement know too. How many of y'all adult searches are forced, non-consensual stuff? It's more than just this, but this shows in my opinion, and when we look at some of the selfies, an infatuation, an idolization of some of these people who did some horrific things. And some of his searches also were, about sociopath and psychopath tendencies and thoughts and how they can, mask themselves in public or in college. And, it's all, it'd be one thing, like Dr. Vona says, if I don't know. I mean, if I see that on anybody's stuff, I don't care if they're a criminologist or not, that's pretty concerning to me.
Right. So I think it's like the combination of factors. Like you said, hopefully nobody has non-consensual. I will tell you this, though. When you do the research on stuff like that, people are looking up really weird corn or whatever you want. I don't know what you say on your chat. But anyway, people are looking up really weird stuff. There you go. So people are looking up really weird stuff. Now, I don't know that it's non-consensual, stuff like that. But like things like brother and sister and like things that like if you saw that on someone's phone, you might be like, wait, what the heck? So I do want to keep an open mind that if we just look into someone's search history, that might not be enough. I think that it's coupled with his behavior, the red flags that everybody sees, and his fantasy going into reality. Like it's one thing to fantasize about something, even if it's wrong. It's another thing to act out on it.
That's true. That's true. I still think all his searches are, especially once we know what he is committed. You know, he's searching into the crime. He's looking into other killers. He's mimicking them in his selfies. And
he's writing passed out, right? Like he's looking for people that are helpless.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that that's a red flag as opposed to like weird searches.
Yeah.
That would be like concerning.
Now, look at this picture here. It's off to the left. In this movie, there's a couple of images where Christian Bale is like super sweaty. And I just want you guys to remember that. All right, let's get into the images of Bryan Kohberger and the selfies. So this is the first one that pops up. This one is apparently June 25th, 2022. Looks like he's downtown somewhere. Man, that almost looks like, now this could be Pullman, this could be a lot of places, but I'll be honest with you, this looks very familiar. You know, when I went looking, I'm gonna have to do some research to see if I can find this building in the back. You have this building here with this, but this looks very similar to the downtown area near the Corner Club in Pullman. I mean, in Moscow. The direction in which where the girls were walking, kind of where, remember where Kaylee goes, what did you tell Adam? And Maddie goes, I told Adam everything.
Oh, yeah.
We Google searched that area, and it looks pretty similar. I'm not saying that this is the area. This could definitely be Pullman, but it just kind of looks very similar. There's some pay areas that you have to park here in he's eating at a restaurant, but within an outdoor area, obviously.
Yeah, that's creepy. That does look very familiar.
Yeah. Anything you notice? I'm sorry if I took everything as far as what's noticeable.
No, that's good. There's a million, they're not a million, but there's a lot of pictures. There's things that I'll notice and others. But I like to look at what's in the background of his pictures. I feel like the background, like I feel like he purposefully takes his photos. So I feel like there's a meaning, not in all of them, but to a lot of them. Like there's one where there's a girl in the background. So I'm like, did he just like pose like right there so we could get it's like a cheerleader. Like there's someone in the background. It's like a pretty girl in the background. So I like to look what's in the background. And I wonder, like you said, if this particular spot has meaning.
No, I know which one you're talking about, and I for sure believe he was taking a picture of the girl. That one was for the Spank Bank later. I'll explain to you why. But if you notice, he's the center of attention in all his pictures, not in those. And we'll see those. So this is another one, him looking down. This one is the middle of summer before school starts. That's all they said when this one came out. Yeah, selfie inside his car.
He looks a little sweaty.
He does.
He looks a little Patrick Bateman there.
A little bit. It gets worse.
Yeah, it does. It definitely does.
Now, this one is weird because it said when I was watching, some of these are from Anjanette Levy, some of these are from Ashley Banfield. And they came out with some different dates and stuff. But this one was indicated that it was on one day while he was out somewhere in Washington, and that this was the next day. I don't know. I think they look like the same day if you look at his hair, the way it's parted and stuff. Yeah, that's definitely the same day.
Same shirt.
Yeah. No way it's 2 different days. Maybe they meant this was the second day.
Maybe.
He looks kind of burnt.
He looks different in all his pics. It's so weird.
He does. He looks pretty burnt. Eyebrows, do you think they look pretty bushy?
Oh, they're so bushy. Is this before?
This is before. All these are before. I have them in order also. So they're before and in order of when they got taken.
And wait, so if you look at his eyebrows here and then you look at his eyebrows at like the last court date, they're clearly like different. Like, was he like picking them with his fingers? Or can you get your hands on a tweezer?
Man, I bet you his lawyers were doing it.
Maybe.
Wouldn't be surprised. There's something in his back seat. See that? There's some sort of bag.
Definitely a backpack.
Yeah. Some in the back seat, strapped in the middle.
I hope he's not driving when he's taking that picture.
Yeah. Now there's a lot more, but we've seen majority of them. We've seen a lot of these pictures, so I didn't want to re-add some of the ones that we've already looked at. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. This one, he looks psycho.
He does. He's making a weird face.
I feel like he's trying to look scary in this one, where some of them, I feel like, you know, he's like trying to look handsome or whatever. But I feel like here he's like purposely making a contempt face on the bottom. I feel like he's purposely trying to look creepy here.
You know, he looks a little thinner, and his eyebrows look way more bushier.
Then when we seen him last, or then the last picture?
Than this picture. Or is it the lighting? Do you think it's the lighting that makes him look? Because that looks like super bushy.
You know what? You're right. So you know what? You're noticing the difference. If you look at the picture right before, any of the females in here that have gotten your eyebrows waxed before, it has like almost like a wax. See that? It looks like he got his eyes waxed. Yeah, it looks like he got his eyebrows waxed. But if they're in order, wouldn't this be the day before? And if so, how would he grow?
Well, I don't know if it's the day before. I think this one's actually so this one is the next day, I think, and then the other one is like a week later.
Okay.
So this is like a week later. Yeah, this one's a week later.
Definitely thicker here.
And then so this is a week afterwards. And then this is the same day. So this is in the car. I mean, even in this picture, they look way thicker than the other one. So it's not the lighting. It's not the, we can, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they literally look like tweezed, or they actually look like they're waxed there. That's how,
Yeah, you can see all the hair in between his eyebrows.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they look pretty bad.
Somebody said he looks like a wax figure in the bathroom. I totally agree.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so creepy.
And so, when I first saw this image, I thought this was like after a run or something. I thought he was sweating. But this is earlier that day. And then later, this is him leaving and driving around in his Elantra.
He could have had a face mask on of some sort in the other one too, like trying to be Patrick Bateman.
This mother trucker never wears the damn seatbelt.
I know.
Let me go back. Was he not wearing it?
He was wearing a seatbelt. Yes, he was. I looked, but he wasn't in that one.
Yeah. All right. Now this one is Patrick Bateman.
Oh my God. So weird.
Yeah. So he took some pictures of him sweaty.
The thing is, he doesn't even really look sweaty here. He looks like he put like something on his face.
You're right. Because it
looks like it's product on his face.
You think so?
Oh, yeah. It looks like he's got Vaseline or something on his face.
What would be the purpose of doing that? Would that make you like sweat more or something?
It could, but it would look like Patrick Bateman and a lot of his, when he does like his routine, like with his face and stuff.
Yeah.
Because like you said, he is posing like that here. So it could just be that he's emulating him. It could be that he's sweating too, but wouldn't his hair be more sweaty if he was sweating?
You would think so. I mean, he does have some, but his eyebrows look less bushy.
Oh my gosh. They are, especially in the middle. But that could be
in the middle.
Yeah. Oh, he definitely looks like he has Vaseline on here.
He definitely has really done like some shaving.
So weird. What is he standing in front of? Do we know?
The WSU Puma or
Gotcha.
Cougar.
Okay. I was just seeing where he was.
Yeah, he was on campus. This is the same. See the Nike, and then it's hard to tell, but right here there's a red symbol. That's the WSU logo. That's let me remove this real quick.
So weird.
That WSU logo right there.
Yeah, that's so creepy.
And then he had these images where he took his picture and some of them had his name and had these letters and numbers. I've talked to a few people, and what they've told me was that this is some sort of meta thing where you need to verify who you are. They ask you to send a picture with your name, the date, and I guess they give you a code to ensure that you are the person who you say you are. I don't know what he was trying to get into. But I did notice there was something weird in this chair here.
What is that? Do we know?
No idea. My initial thought was a purse.
A purse?
Yeah, but I don't know.
That could be a tail. It could be shoes. It looks like a shoe. That looks like that's definitely shoes. After you just said that, that definitely looks like sneakers to me.
Yeah. Weird stuff.
Yes.
And this is his house. This is while he's still at his house. He looks like he has a fresh haircut in this.
Oh, like his house in Pennsylvania?
No. In his apartment.
Gotcha.
His
apartment.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. All these are before the murders. And then this one, the Pro Burger's going to like. Here come the like buttons from the Pro Burgers.
This is so weird. With his girl pants on.
With his lady pants.
His lady pants with the V in the back.
Man, the guy got leg gap, like thigh gap or whatever.
He does have thigh gap.
Yeah. I
So
bet you
when
he sent this picture to his mom saying cowboy butts drive you nuts.
I know, right? That's hysterical. The one where he has like the where they're not buttoned. So I feel like here, like he's like, oh, I got them buttoned. But in the one where he's like, he looks disgusted. I feel like he's just giving the face that any of us would have gave if we tried on a pair of pants that we just bought and they didn't fit.
Yeah.
But why do they look like they fit here?
They don't. I mean,
they don't. No, you're right. I don't mean like that. I meant
that does not fit, dude.
ways.
I like I say, I live out in Texas. We wear Wranglers. We got some tight jeans. I've never like that's not natural. These aren't.
No, I feel like you can't tell if that's the front or the back if you were just looking at that angle.
He looks like a Barbie doll.
He looks like a girl.
He does.
You're definitely too tight.
Yeah.
And he looks like he's like popping his butt out. Like, what is he doing?
Yeah, that's exactly what he's doing. And look at the dumb face he makes. He's like, I don't know if these fit. Oh my gosh. And then he got a close up. He got a close up just to make sure.
These are definitely, I'm sorry, girls. There's a lot of us in the chat. Are these not girls' jeans?
I've never
like do any of your pockets have like that? That's
no.
like you guys, this is like girls' jeans.
Like this is literally like up his rear end.
Right? I was gonna say, where's his testicles?
I mean, he does talk kind of higher pitched. Maybe this is why.
Maybe. But look, it's like pulling, like you said. That's weird. Isn't that uncomfortable?
That's gotta be uncomfortable. That's got to be uncomfortable.
Oh yeah, people are agreeing. Somebody said they are men's jeans. Well, they're really tight.
I don't know.
Oh, somebody else said Wranglers has stitches and then Levi's. But why do they look like girls to me?
I mean, I don't know. I don't think I've ever owned a pair of jeans that cut up like that.
No, but they're clearly
the rear.
Small.
And so this is him with his shirt, looking at the love handles.
I feel like he thinks he looks good here.
He probably does. I mean, I don't know. Look at the towel. It's all jacked up. Do you think is this something indicative of somebody who has OCD?
No. Oh, absolutely not. From the pictures, absolutely not. Even the ones in the kitchen and stuff. And people need to. This picture gets me. The other one too. Did you see his wrinkled forehead? He has a lot of wrinkles. Like the one, not that one. The other one that we were just looking at. No, it was further. Like, oh wait, that was it. Go back one. Look right there. Isn't that really wrinkly?
That is pretty wrinkly.
That's all I noticed. I'm like, what was that? And then I'm like, I think that was his forehead, and it was. I just wanted to make sure that was his forehead.
Yeah. Look, he
what
has
a
a curtain.
Taker.
He's got a curtain.
Like he didn't even move the bottle in between his legs.
No, he was trying to see if he had enough space for the bottle. I don't know why you would want to see that, but that's so look at this picture here. And he is the center of the camera, center of the image. He's at a baseball game. He's no longer the center of the image. He's off to the right.
Yeah, to get the girl in the picture.
and he takes multiple pictures with her in the background.
That is so weird.
So he has a girl and himself in the image. This is definitely, like I said, for the spank bank. This guy's that's what he uses. He's looking at himself and he's looking at the girl. He's adjusting what appears to be something on her chest.
It looks like she's sitting down getting ready to play like the violin or something, but she has
Yeah.
blonde hair, right?
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, the more I see like the women in his phone, the more I think that Kaylee was the target.
I think it's a good possibility, and I think that's exactly who he was trying to get in the image here.
Mm-hmm. I do too.
Uh,
My thing is, not for nothing, if you were at a game, I've never like, I don't know. I think I would feel like, is he there really early? Why, or is this like baseball team not really good? Like when I go to the Phillies game, like there would be a million people. Like I wouldn't even have been able to take that selfie.
Does that look like a pro stadium?
Yeah. No, well, that's what I mean. It doesn't
And
look
he's
like
kind of
Philadelphia.
broke, right? Like he doesn't make a lot of money, even
No,
with
he
the TA stuff. This is
Mm.
probably minor league.
maybe.
You know what I mean? This is probably a minor league game that's inexpensive.
Oh, someone said it's college. Imagine like just sitting in the, like standing there taking
Oh well,
selfies.
there you go. Even in the college games, I think students get like a discount or something. College stadium, there you go.
Maybe he got in free as like a TA.
Possibly. Yeah, he's over here taking pictures with girls in the back. I bet you he did
I
that a
feel
lot.
like he's even looking at her in this picture.
He probably is.
Like it dead looks like he's like looking at her. See that? He's like
Yeah.
not looking into the camera. He's literally looking at her.
I think you're right.
Oh, that's so creepy. And look, he's got that contempt smile. Like he knows a little bit more than she does. Oh. Weird.
Yeah, he's definitely a weirdo. Then he took a trip. This is right before school starts, so he's at the state capitol. I think this is in Olympia. Could be wrong. I'm not a. and
No,
then,
that's where I think it was too.
and then this is the mountain range that he goes up, and I want to say that's Rainier, but I could be wrong. You guys tell me in the comment section.
No, it does look like that. And he probably sent that home to his mom because that's the mountain.
All
that
his selfies. He never sent a selfie to anybody. They were all for
none
himself.
of them?
Not
Oh,
one.
wow.
Not one. And he was up there until night. So he was there all day and night. Took a couple of pictures up on the top at nighttime.
He looks really thin there.
Yeah.
Like look at the top of his arms.
Yeah. Well, the straps are squeezing his arms and it's making it appear, it's actually squeezing his chest, making his arms appear to be thinner.
Which would go with the eating disorder thing.
Yeah. I can see that.
Definitely. And he looks like he's sweaty there. Like even his hair was wet.
Yeah. Well, he just climbed up that entire mountain. He definitely would be.
Yeah, I would have been dying.
Look at how bushy those eyebrows are.
Look how crooked his nose is. Like it looks like somebody punched him. And I'm not saying that to be mean. I don't have like a great nose. I'm just saying like I feel like there's pictures of him when he first gets to his doctorate where his nose does not look crooked. And then I feel like there's a point where it starts to look really crooked to me. And then I feel like after the crime, it looks even worse. And I don't know if it's a coincidence. I don't know. But take notice of it.
Well, do.
What
So he's taking a picture. What's the point of this? He doesn't send anything out. You know, I would assume if he's sending these pictures like, hey, what do you think about this?
They're
shirt
black
on me?
shoes.
Yeah, the Nike shoes. But there's a tag right here on the shirt. And he has these Nike shoes on. I'm assuming that he's only, he's trying out the shirt, but what do you think he's taking a picture of? Or why do you think he's taking a picture?
I think he's taking a picture of all the black shoes in the background.
You see any Vans?
I didn't look, but that's a good question.
But you know what? The Vans ended up being, I think they said it was nothing.
And I think I saw other bottoms of other sneakers that looked similar to Vans that could have been misconstrued for Vans. What is this?
So this is an image of him with his, I guess he's taking a picture of his fist and how he is able to white knuckle.
It looks like he's like holding a knife, but he's not. Or he's
Right.
holding, it looks like he's holding, or is he just trying to white knuckle?
I think he's just trying to white knuckle, but he's, this is before the murders. This is probably, throughout one of his interactions. This kind of gives you the mindset of what he was going through. This is leading up to the murders. We're getting pretty close to it. And these are the images that he takes. Now look at the mirror. Look how nasty that mirror is.
That's what I mean. I don't think that he's, and again, when you're OCD, because I don't want people to get misconstrued, that doesn't mean that you're a germaphobe. However, the type germophobia is a type of OCD. But again, so if you're a germaphobe, you have OCD. But if you're OCD, it doesn't mean that you're the germaphobe type. The reason I bring this up, though, is because everybody on the defense and stuff made it seem like he was the germaphobe type. And if he was, like, he clearly wasn't. Like you said, look at that mirror.
Yeah. Yeah.
My daughters wouldn't be allowed out. I'd be like, go back and clean the bathroom again.
And he has the shower curtain there too. Definitely does. Thank you, Holly. And here's one thing I noticed. So you see him, he's standing straight up, clenching his fist. Now he's kind of bent forward.
I'm telling you, he looks
clenching
like
a fist. I think he's trying to throw a fart.
It looks like he's like emulating a knife. If you look at the picture before and then this one, I could see the key bar in his hand without seeing it.
Yeah, no, I hear you. But, I think he's just trying to make his knuckles look white, and he's mad. And, I think he thinks it looks cool.
Yeah, that's so strange.
But look at the size of his fist. Keep an idea of his size. It doesn't look like a big fist, right?
Mm-mm.
All right, we're gonna look at some of his pictures of his hands after the murders, and you tell me if it looks any bigger, especially around this part of his hand. So just kind of keep it. Remember this part.
Interesting.
Now these are the last selfies that he takes before the murders. He's gotten a haircut. He's looking at the back of his head again. We saw some images of another haircut that he had earlier in the year, and he was looking at the back of his head at this point. I said that I think he has some alopecia going on. He's got some markings here on the back of his head. I think that's what he was looking at.
Could they just be like calyx?
They could. Now that one looks like a scar up there, the one at the top.
He used to fight, remember? Like he used to box and and stuff like that. So I wouldn't be surprised if some of these were scars.
Yeah.
I don't know if you'd get it in the back of your head though.
That's probably from slipping and falling.
I was going to say, what are the chances that the hairdresser just wasn't that great? These do look like scars, don't they?
This one up here does.
Mm-hmm.
This one here and like right here and right here, it looks like it's almost thinning, which isn't like a...
That's so true.
You know what I'm saying? So that's why I think it's alopecia on the bottom ones.
Oh my God, I never noticed that. You're right. At the bottom, it does look like it's thinning.
In certain areas.
And it's funny you say that because in a few of the pictures, his hair looks really thick. And then there were a few where it looked really thin in the front, but I didn't say anything because I'm like, I feel like he has thick hair. But now that you just pointed this out, oh, for sure.
Yeah. So like right here.
I mean, unless that's the fade, but.
I don't know, because he had it in the same spot on the other one. So unless this lady's like really screwing up at the same spot for the, it looks kind of very similar. I don't know. I think he has some sort of alopecia because it's the same one. If we were to, and I'll pull him up here in a little bit, the ones where he's looking at his hair when he first gets a haircut. It's a few weeks before this, and he's looking at the same thing in the back of his head, the same spots that are there.
Okay.
And then there's the infamous, this is the next selfie he takes. Man, look at how fast his hair grows, because that's only a week difference.
It really is. And that would make sense because in the one, remember there was a week difference when I said I was at the next day when we were talking about the eyebrows getting them waxed. Yeah. So if his hair grows that fast, so do his eyebrows. So it could be that he had his eyebrows waxed in that other one. He loves this white knuckle thing, doesn't he?
Look at that Band-Aid.
And we saw what it's under it afterwards, didn't we? In another picture.
Yeah, we do. But there's the Band-Aid. There's the white knuckles. Don't tell me this hand don't look swollen right here.
1,000% it does.
I mean, this hand looks way more swollen. Now that it's a cleared image, we can actually see it. And that hand looks super, super swollen.
It does, the bottom part especially. The other thing is we don't even see the other hand. So who knows? Like, it's always been my opinion that this was not only like a thumbs up, like the Patrick Bateman thing, but I also feel like this was to document that he had no scars or bruising or cuts, even though he's got a Band-Aid. But it appears, if you just look at this, like, oh, he couldn't have done this. Look, he doesn't have any bruising or cuts or anything, even though we see the Band-Aid there. To him, it probably doesn't even look like he has it. So I feel like part of this was to show himself right after, but I also feel like part of this was so that he could be like, what are you talking about? Like, there's no way that person did that and didn't have any cuts or anything. Like, look, I have nothing on me. Kind of like with Jack, right? When he goes to Kaylee's house and the dad wants to see, and he takes his shirt off to show him, like, I have nothing. I'm good. So I feel like part of this picture, other than he's proud of himself, is to show that he has no cuts, even though we know that he does.
That's a possibility. That definitely is.
My question is,
he's showing his, and this is the one thing that's different though, right? When it comes to like Jack Decor and Bryan Kohberger, because Bryan may not have visual scratches on his neck or anything like that, but he has hands that are indicative of a fight or an assault.
Didn't they say though, like a few of the, I don't know if it was his students or peers, that the month before or something that he had, it looked like he'd been fighting, like maybe like at a gym fighting. I don't know that he was fighting anyone. But I don't know. This is my question to you. That finger right there with that cut, how did he not get blood? Because I'm assuming, because at first I'm like, oh, well, maybe he cut it and it was under his gloves. And then I'm like, duh, stupid. Like, to myself, I'm like, if he cut his finger, then his glove got cut too. So like, how did he avoid this spraying out all over the crime scene?
He must have pinched his finger, whether it was between the guard and something else. But you know, think about like a situation where it may have pinched it, and the pinching aspect is what tore the skin, and not necessarily a cut or a tear into the glove and the skin to cut the skin. And so and that's the only thing that I can think of as to why it did that, and they weren't able to find his blood on the scene, is because it was more of a pinch.
That's interesting. Do we have the other picture where you could see the scar of it? Oh gosh.
And this is still at his house. You can see the this is still before he moved.
After, right?
This is now after the murders. He's still in his apartment complex in Pullman. This is his closet in the background. His hair is shorter, so he hasn't left yet to. This is around the time he got that haircut. Remember, there was I think it was like at the end of November.
Look, his eyebrows even look less bushy.
They do, especially out here. And
I wonder what date this is. Like, you guys, this picture is so creepy now that I know that it's right after it. There goes the thing. But remember in the very beginning when we looked at the German stuff?
Yeah.
So what if after now he feels like a killer? Like, this is his. Remember the first time we saw this, I was like, who is he saluting? Like, how embarrassing. What is he doing?
That's true. That's true.
That picture that you showed earlier makes this that much more.
It does.
Scary.
It does.
But yes, let me see the finger again.
And to me, that looks more like it looks like it could have been pinched.
And how long is this after?
2 weeks.
So it had time to heal.
It had time to heal. But if it was just a pinch, it wouldn't have been a severe injury, but it would have left a mark like that.
Why would he have had to put a Band-Aid on it though if it was a pinch?
It could have torn, but the pinches, they turn. You can still bleed from it, but when you get pinched hard, it'll turn the skin like a weird dark color, and it kind of looks like that as it heals,
like a bruise.
Yeah, and it turns like a light color like that, and it scars like that when it heals. I've pinched my hands before on certain things, whether it be like when I'm working, especially when I'm working on cars. And I hit something by accident, and I pinched my hand between, or the skin between tools and things of that nature. It kind of looks like that.
Don't you feel like it could look like a cut though too?
Blood blister. I think that's what some folks are thinking.
Oh,
I think that might. Might be what I'm thinking of the actual terminology behind it. Now, what did you say?
No, I said, couldn't it also have been a cut from the knife?
It could have been a cut from the knife. It could have been.
But if it was a cut from the knife, wouldn't it have left blood at the scene?
You see, the only thing about it being a cut from the knife is, even if it's from the guard, that's not that part of your finger doesn't come in contact with the guard, right? Either the bottom of your hand or the top of your hand is what's going to come in contact with the guard, right? Mm-hmm. So this must have been from a punch.
I see.
Now, I don't understand how he could punch something and it tear his skin and him not leave DNA behind. That's interesting.
Right? Isn't that interesting? That's what I was thinking. I'm like, I don't know. But I don't know. Mm-hmm. His hand still looks a little swollen here.
It does. Look at his pinky finger. It looks all swollen.
Yeah, that's what I was looking at. His pinky finger looks double the size.
He can't even bend it down.
That is a good point. My husband broke his finger at work. He needed like surgery. He shattered it, and that's how his finger looks. He can't get it all the way as like a fist, and that's exactly what it looks like. And it was from breaking it. Mm-hmm. Ew, he looks creepy here. So my thing is, could he have even have a broken pinky? Like, would we even know that? Because do they even do you really do anything for that?
You don't. I broke my pinky once. I was playing basketball, and to this day it sucks. Just playing basketball, and I went to hit the ball, and I missed. I may have hit the ball, I don't remember, but I ended up making more contact with the guy's shoulder, and my finger from my pinky bent backwards, and it popped like that, and I popped it back, and it got swollen for about 6-7 weeks, and maybe a little bit less than that, about 5 weeks, and I just left it. I didn't do anything. I think I went and bought one of those braces from like the Walmart, those finger braces, and I think that was the only thing I did. And then I actually was talking to my doctor about it, and they said that I probably have some weak ligaments. My physical therapist, and they said I probably have some weak ligaments because of it bending backwards. Because to this day, if I'm like playing like guitar or doing something with my hand, it'll bend backwards on its own. It's weird. It feels nasty. It's like the ugly feeling. God. I've had so many injuries. I've had that. I've hyperextended my elbow, my knee.
The dog.
My dog dislocated my my ankle. I've had a serious back injury.
Someone says, everyone keep asking. What are we asking? Someone write it so I could tell us.
Yeah. About what?
I don't know, but somebody said, could it be Kaylee's teeth?
Could it be from his teeth? I mean, Kaylee's it's possible.
Teeth. But my thing is, wouldn't it have to go through the gloves?
It would, and there would be a tear, in my opinion, of the gloves. For it to have tear the skin, it would have torn the gloves. And
that's what it was. They wanted to know if it could be from Kaylee's teeth. That's what they were asking.
It's possible. I don't know how DNA. I don't know if you can get DNA because let's just say that that's the case, right? It's from her teeth. She probably has like a lot of like blood coming out of her mouth, and so is it possible that all the DNA that's in her mouth is gonna just be too much for his DNA that could be left behind? I think that's a possibility. That's a good question. I'm gonna ask Steve from True Crime Web. How difficult would it be to pull DNA if he punched somebody in the mouth and there was blood and saliva and God knows what else, if she puked up a little bit, if those have any factors, if she threw up a little bit and there's acid there, then it probably destroyed all DNA that was in her mouth.
And not just that, we also have to assume that, if he didn't bleed much, we would have to assume that they swabbed his blood at some point. So, what if they just assumed it was all Kaylee's blood and didn't even go ahead and swab that?
That's a possibility too. But I would have thought that if this happened with Kaylee, then that would have been the first assault, right? He then would have had to have gone through Ethan and Xana without leaving any blood or DNA behind. So I'm not necessarily sold on the idea that it is hers. I think it could have been probably from Xana, given the fact that he didn't trace that blood anywhere else in the house, which it's a small cut on his finger. So it's not like he would have traced it, a significant amount of places, but it sounds like he got into some physical altercation with Xana. I'm surprised that his hand didn't touch her in some form or fashion with blood, and it stayed behind. To me, I think that that's probably an indication that this injury occurred towards the latter part of the assaults, thus likely leaving a less chance for DNA. Because if it happened earlier, then it increases the possibility of that blood DNA being discoverable and much, much higher. You know what I'm saying?
I do. No, you're right about that. I've never heard of this, but obviously somebody else has. Have you ever heard of metal gloves? It said, could it be butcher's gloves that keep you from getting cut? Didn't he work for a while cutting fish? It would be an injury. It could be an injury from metal glove.
That's very possible. That's very possible. And then it also could be brass knuckles. Could be a lot of things. You know, there was supposedly a second weapon. Could it have been brass knuckles, and that caused the pinching on his finger?
So brass knuckles, you guys, if anybody remembers, I said brass knuckles since the very beginning, and everybody was like, no, it's not. And it's so could so be from brass knuckles now that you just said that.
Yeah. So this is an image. Now he's at his parents' house. So this is after he's left and fled Pullman with his father, traveled cross country to Pennsylvania. And these are the images that we have of him. I don't know what he's trying to capture here. Some of these, I think they said, were from video that he was recording of himself. Like this one was supposedly from a video.
Do you think we're ever going to get our hands on the videos?
I hope so. I have a Freedom of Information Act on it, and we're still waiting on it. I'm supposed to get some pictures. So these images, some other images, and the surveillance video of not the surveillance, but the ring footage from 1112 King Road from next door. Just haven't gotten it yet. A lot of people wondering, what is he doing here?
There you go.
Could it be this?
Yeah, it could be. I think that looks like the second one that's blurred. It does. It looks just like that. Even, I don't know. My thing is, why would he gets a lot of bad pictures on himself? And I'm just like, what, like, but if that's from a video, that actually would make more sense, because then they could stop it at any point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he needs a picture of himself like that. And it seems like maybe he took a video and that's like where they stopped it. I don't know. But I think he's trying to do Patrick Bateman there.
I think he is. And I think that's what he's been trying to mimic in a lot of these images. Including this one.
Yeah.
Looks
like he's so proud.
His teeth look so jacked up.
And yellow. But I didn't want to say nothing because I don't want to be mean.
I'd be mean to this asshole. He deserves it.
No, you're right. You're right.
But I mean, it's not even that. He looks like he's on something. Do you know what I mean?
Very well.
And drugs can affect the teeth.
Oh, they said Kenny had a problem before that. So, I mean, it could just be, we don't know. He might not brush his teeth.
I mean, if you look at him here and then let's go back to, I'm going the wrong way.
And the fact that he doesn't smile with teeth a lot.
He don't. I thought I had some.
Oh,
they don't look all jacked up here.
No, they don't. Oh, they almost look stained in the other one.
Yeah. Let's see. I can get if there was another one with his teeth showing. They don't look all jacked up.
No,
I mean, they don't look perfect or anything, but you know, by the time he's back home, they look pretty jacked up.
Even there, they look better. Isn't that weird? What the hell's on his teeth?
I don't know. I think he was on something. You know, and then he was probably drinking a lot more coffee, staying up all night. I think that was one of the things that he bought. I don't know if that makes a difference if he wasn't a coffee drinker and then all of a sudden became a coffee drinker.
That could be too. That could be too, for sure. Barbara just made me laugh out loud. She said he's trying to wear her jeans.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be
Yeah, what's
coffee.
up with his teeth there? But would they stain them like that quick?
It would be pretty quick.
I guess so, yeah.
And then he's trying to do some weird things with his hair. And this is all while he's at his mom's house, guys. This is back at mama's.
You're usually good at like figuring out what he was trying to do. Do you know, or do you think he was just pushing his hair? Like,
now
usually you'll
image.
come out with a picture of like something where somebody has their, and I'll be like, oh my gosh, Daniel, where did you find that? But we don't know. Like, I feel like he's got to be doing this for a reason.
Yeah, and this one's a common pose that he does even beforehand. So I would say it's probably a Patrick Bateman reference.
That one's creepy.
I don't know, man. It almost looks like he's looking at his hairline.
Yes, right. Remember you said in the other one that his hair was thinning, like the thinning in the back. That's what I was wondering. That's where I was going at. Like, do you think he could be looking at his thinning hair?
And this is also in Pennsylvania. Look at this in the background. Look at that toilet seat.
Does he have toilet paper on the toilet seat?
I think, yeah. At his parents' house.
Why? Do we know that this is his parents' house?
Yeah, this is his parents' house.
Why would someone put toilet paper on their pants?
And just leave it there. Like, so this tells me that he probably pees sitting down. That's the first thing. Two, it don't look disturbed, so he's about to take a dump or pee sitting down in the next few minutes.
Either that or he has something on his teeth and something that he's about to do. What did you call it before?
The spank thing?
Yeah, maybe he's about to do so. Like, and again, this is speculation, but what if he like takes blood home of some sort?
So you think this is more to protect the seat
don't know.
from what
Why
he's
else
about to do?
Why would it be there?
I have no idea.
Someone else is thinking what I'm thinking. He's a lot more feminine
Yeah.
than I thought he was.
But it's not disturbed. So whatever it is, he's about to go to town on it.
Exactly. It looks like he's about to do whatever it is.
This is a pre-poop photo.
But why would you put toilet paper on the seat?
But why would you stop? Like something, so you're prepping the toilet to utilize it, and you stop mid prep or right as soon as you're done to go take a selfie. Like, what is he doing? Like, he's like, man, I got to take a dump. He spots himself in the mirror, like, man, I look good, and then walk up and take a selfie. You know, right before you're about to drop a deuce. Is that what's going on here?
So Betsy Ross says, could he be bulimic? Could he be barfing up his food?
That's a good one.
That is a good one. And they said that he was diagnosed with ARFID, which is an eating disorder. But again, just like with everything else, I contest this. And I think if he has an eating disorder, it's probably an eating. Oh my gosh, look at that. That could be even from throwing up.
Yeah, I was going to say, now that you mentioned the throwing up aspect, I think that could be it. But he left it after he puked?
No, he probably, he either already did, or a lot of people get caught with having bulimia because a parent or a sibling, like somebody that cleans the bathroom will notice the vomit. And when you do this, like right after you vomit, you get like a high from it, which wouldn't surprise me because one, he has a disorder of control, which is why I don't think it's ARFID. I think he still has an eating disorder, but I think ARFID, just so people know, it's different than anorexia. People are like, how does it differ? Because both of them have to do with restraining from food. However, ARFID has to do with a sensory type thing, which is what they diagnosed him with. I think it's more of a control thing. So I think he fits more of the bulimia or anorexia, even not otherwise specified, just meaning he doesn't fit one specifically. But I definitely think his eating disorder is still prevalent, and that would make sense to cover it up. Like, so my first thought was about like, was he going to this bang thing? But now I'm thinking that might be more. Someone else said germs. I don't think it's germs because we just looked at that photo where it was like, I mean, there's so many things that are like disgusting. So I don't think it's germs, like that mirror.
That's true.
So I feel like this it's to protect from something. So whether it be vomit Or
Well, I mean, to their credit, for those that are saying germs, he didn't want to use pans that cooked meat. Maybe he didn't want cheeks that passed meat. I don't know. We have a comment here by Angela saying barfing could yellow his teeth. Do you think that's
so I was just going to say that, but I didn't want to interrupt you again because I feel like I keep interrupting you. I was going to say, after thinking about it, with that on his shirt, that in the background, that absolutely could yellow his teeth. So I don't know if people know this, but when you throw up specifically, you should never brush your teeth right after, because you throw up your stomach acid. And for bulimic patients, we tell them not to brush their teeth right after, because then you wind up brushing the acid into your teeth. He's done time at an eating disorders unit before where he stayed. So I feel like he would have known that. So just the acid sitting on your teeth could do that. And from brushing your teeth right after, it could do that. So yes, you should brush your teeth eventually, right? But they say wait about 20 minutes if you're vomiting from bulimia, because you're bringing up stomach acid. And it does ruin, like, you can't get new enamel in your teeth.
Yeah.
So once you burn the enamel off, like, we're talking thousands of dollars of dental work for a lot of people.
Look at his sleeve. It's wet and it rolled up.
Oh, he definitely was throwing up.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion. Daniel, that is such a good catch.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he was.
Wet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. And he gets thinner and thinner and thinner.
He does.
And just so people know that an eating disorder is a disorder of control.
And I think this is around Christmas time. And so he's probably eating meals that are heavy, you know. Even if he's vegan or whatever, he's probably getting, you know, some extra whatever he can eat, mashed potatoes or corn.
Yeah, but the thing is that if you're throwing up, like if you're bulimic, you're throwing up like 18 times a day type thing. So like you're even throwing up water, like you're throwing up everything. So I don't even know that it would be about the food at that particular point, because he would have thrown up if he had a piece of bread or a steak.
Whoa.
And when you look, I was going to say, when you look at those pictures of him half naked, he does look like he gets thinner and thinner.
Look at his hand. Does that look swollen to you?
Oh, yeah, on the bottom.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And this is at his mom's house.
What is up with this photo? Like, I don't understand. Why does he do so many of them like this?
I have no idea.
His dad even did it in the one.
Yeah, his dad did. He just throws off evil Ben Stiller vibes to me. Like Night at the Museum meets Freddy Krueger or something. Like, that's.
Oh my God.
He does.
Oh my God, that is so funny.
Like,
or like even in Happy Gilmore. Oh my God, it's like the new one. Yes, I definitely see what you're saying. That's
yeah. Yeah, big old. I mean, to me, his hand looks still swollen.
You know what's interesting to me in this picture is that everything in the background looks like it looks like a rental type thing, just like his. Is this at his house in Pennsylvania?
I believe this is at his house in Pennsylvania.
So
I think
everything is like mute color there too.
Yeah.
Including the shower curtain, and there's no other shower curtain on the outside. It's just an inside one. That's interesting.
Yeah, look, you see this little edge curvature here on the. It's right there, the little edge curvature, and then there's the door for the toilet. So yeah, he's at his house in Pennsylvania.
So weird.
Then he takes one at night.
What's that light from behind him?
I don't know. Maybe he's getting pulled over.
He gets pulled over more than anybody I've ever seen with a license.
Now this is at his mom's house. Keep in mind all these pictures of him and Kohberger's. Keep it down, calm it down, simmer down.
Seriously,
this is at his mom's house. He's trying to make himself look like he's strong.
So look, he's trying to make himself. All right, this is interesting to me. So he's at his mom's house, where he originally is a big, like not at this house, but like at his parents' house is where he originally starts out as a really big kid. This is almost like him, like, and look at it. He's trying to do his muscle here on his arm. And remember with the backpack, it looked like his arms were really thin. So I feel like this is his, like, look at me now. Just like I said in that freaking video I did, the first one, and I said, Oh my God.
He's doing this in the dining room. Like if you came home and saw your son in the dining room, in the kitchen area, just kind of flexing.
I thought you were going to say my
topless.
husband. I was going to say I'd be calling a therapist.
Well, I mean, you're
Well, this is the thing. So if I had a son, he would probably be a teenager, young 20. So
No,
I
this
might be
guy's
able to let
almost
him get away
30.
with this. He's almost 30. Like there's like, I don't know.
Like,
But if there's somebody in the crowd that takes a picture, I mean, I guess if he was trying to like build muscle, you could say that, but I don't know.
right, but you do that in your bedroom. You do that in your
Oh
restroom.
yeah, he's in the
you do this in the dining
I
room.
I see what you're saying. Of his mother's house.
Yeah, exactly. He's at the dining room of his mom's house, topless, walking around, trying to show off his muscles. I mean, in the kitchen, he transitioned from the dining room to the kitchen. Didn't care that it's kind of a bit of a mess.
No, and I feel like he loves the fact that you could see like his collarbone, his ribs.
What do you think about that?
Oh, there you go. That's what I was waiting for with the hair thing. I was waiting for you to pull out a photo.
Yeah.
That's definitely what that is. Look at the face. It's literally exactly what he's trying to do.
Yeah.
But do you see how like he's delusional and thinking that he looks like that?
I do. He thinks he's Christian Bale. He thinks he's Patrick Bateman.
Wow. I can't believe that picture. That to me looks more like him cosplaying than any of the ones. I mean, that's like up there with the hoodie picture. That looks like Bundy.
Natalie comes in with $9.99. Just think, we speculated this guy was a sophisticated scholar. Silly us. He is so disturbed, creepy, and vile. Nothing appealing about him. At least he cannot take any more selfies now. Gross.
Isn't that the truth?
No, he just takes one picture once every so often for public records in the jail system.
That's crazy. Look at this picture.
It is. It's weird. It's obviously what he was trying to do.
And it shows us too, like, so before the crime, if you look at the pictures, and I didn't get to like really study these pictures, so you could clearly see that I'm shocked with some of these. But if you look at the before the crime pictures, he looks a lot less confident. And then the pictures afterwards, like look at even like some of his facial expressions, like with the contempt. Like I just feel like he looks like he goes from not confident to confident, which sucks because again, it's like, do you see me now?
Yeah. This is Christmas night. And so a little bit later, he's going to be Google searching a bunch of serial killers and their timelines and things of that nature. This is also Christmas night.
He looks old there.
He does.
Is that high heels?
Those are high heels. This one's probably the one of the restrooms down. Like, so he lived, I think, in the basement area is where he was at, and so I think that's where like much of his bedroom.
Wait, he
and
lives
those
in the basement area because that's where the picture of Mount Rainier is.
That's true. I think there's a couple of rooms down there, and I think he lived down there.
Wow. That is a different bathroom. Someone pointed out that it's a different bathroom, but it's just as like bland as the other one.
Unless this is his mom's bathroom, the master bath.
I don't know. The high heels is an interesting choice.
It is.
For a bathroom. He wears a lot of blue shirts too, I noticed.
He does.
Oh my God, that
him
looks
with
like
his
my
dog.
dog. Ugh.
I
That
don't think
dog's
this is a face of enjoyment. I don't think he likes the dog's face in his face.
Yeah, he does look disgusted, like as if he doesn't want the dog to like lick him. But at the same time, he's also taking a picture of it. Like all of these pictures are so purposeful. So I feel like they all have a meaning behind them. So I feel like the more that I look at them, the more I will make connections of like where, like you did with the where you blur pictures. I feel like there's other ones that like I'm missing, not missing something, but I feel like there's a direct connection to something else that I just need to figure out.
Yeah, no, there definitely could be. And then
like this one.
Yeah, here's one thing that's been bothering me about this one is look at the hoodie, right? You have a hood, but look at the pattern on this.
How does it look like the Vans?
It doesn't look like the Vans. I mean, it's weird. It's different because it's not this one,
No, it's not.
but it could be. So look, this is a jacket. This is his jacket. Look at I've seen this jacket before.
Mhm.
This is his coat over that sweater. You get that? You see it? You see
I see it. I see it.
So he put this sweater. See how it goes above over the neck? It says cores or whatever, or jacket. I think he put that one over his sweatshirt.
Oh yeah.
I
And
think this is the sweatshirt.
yeah, and I would think that he would use his the big college hoodie one. So I wonder why he picked this one. I feel like there's got to be, I don't know.
I think he dressed like this that night. I think it was a sweatshirt, a sweater with a hoodie over it, or something like that. It may have
I
been
knew you were
Molotov
getting at
vest.
something, Daniel. I just didn't know what it was. I knew like there was like a punchline that you weren't getting at yet. So there you go. That's the punchline, that he could have been wearing something very much like this that covered his neck and stuff.
Yeah, it covered his neck. He has it all the way up. I think I think this is what he wore that night.
Yeah, I could see that.
I mean,
With
it may
black
not be
pants.
this specific
No, right.
sweater, but I think it was a jacket similar to this that covered his neck over a sweatshirt, which is why it took him so long to get out of there and why it took him so long to get into the house, because he's parking back there at 407. You know, Xana isn't interrupted on her TikTok until about 4:16. I know the PCA says 4:12, but I found a warrant that said it was 4:16, and that came from TikTok, and that one was dated in April of 2023, so after the PCA was written, so it would have been more newer, more accurate information. And so Bryan Kohberger pulls back there before 4:08. You know, by the sounds of it, there's no blood on Kaylee's door. Kaylee's door was open. Even law enforcement think, and we've gone through the documents when they did the time runs, that Bryan Kohberger opened Kaylee's door first. That's what gave Murphy the opportunity to run down and interrupt Xana off of her TikTok so that Dylan can hear Xana or who she thinks is Kaylee, but it's actually Xana and Murphy going up the stairs. See, he can't go up the stairs unless he comes down the stairs, right? And so, you know, in order for her to hear that, she hears who she thinks is Kaylee playing with Murphy, which is probably Murphy unwilling to go up the stairs because he's frightened of what occurred. At some point, she turns around and runs. He's probably still frightened. He runs outside the back sliding glass door that remained open. She runs to Ethan. And that happens at 4:17 a.m. So if he was inside that house at 4:09 or 4:10 and he opened that door for Kaylee's room, that's like 5, put it even 2 to 3 minutes if you think it's the 4:12 time. You got a minimum 3, maximum 5 or 6 minutes it took for Murphy to get from upstairs to downstairs. I don't think that's feasible. Something took him a while. And when he left at 4:19, because that's when Dylan ends up calling Bethany at 4:20 and saying that she saw somebody leave, the vehicle isn't leaving until almost 4:21. It was 4:20 and 50 some odd seconds before the vehicle was seen heading out of there at a high rate of speed. You know, my assumption, especially if he knew that somebody saw him, he's going to be moving with a purpose. So he would be moving pretty quickly, and yet it still took him almost 2 minutes to get out of there. So to me, that tells me that he really he had to undress.
For sure.
And it was more than just a jumpsuit that just was one easy zip, one easy out. It's more than that, in my opinion. And I think it was multi-layered this way. So that way, if somebody did try to scratch his chest or his neck, they wouldn't dig their nails into his skin, leaving DNA behind.
That makes total sense, right? And you would want to have that covered up if you were him. Just in case anybody saw me laugh when you were talking, beautiful waterfall. Like, I read something that beautiful water, and I just started laughing. So they said, yep, he's giving me Silence of the Lamb vibes too. I can picture him dancing around naked with that lip gloss on. So that makes me think, did he take one of the girls' lip glosses, do you think?
I mean, he could have taken a lot of things. He does look like he's wearing some weird
In a lot of them, he looks like he's wearing lip gloss. Like more than like that doesn't to me that doesn't look like chapstick.
Yeah.
I have a lip gloss right now, and it literally that's what it looks like. Like because it's not like real shiny or anything, but at the same time, he definitely has something on his lips. And my thing could be like I think they're right in the comments that could have definitely been one of the trophies that he took that he in the pictures is putting on because like I said, I feel like every picture there's a purpose. So it could be that you put lip gloss on in the picture as that trophy. What do you think?
It's possible. I feel that if he's wearing it then, this is right before his arrest. I think like either the day or the night of, like a couple of hours before. They would have found, I think they would have documented some lip gloss in his possession.
Yeah, but couldn't they have said that it was like this? Like, couldn't they have thought that it was the moms or the sisters? Like, there's other women.
But I mean, he would have had to have hid it in their stuff. If they found it in his
No,
possession.
I mean, like, if it was just laying around, like, how would they know that? I mean, I guess they could. Yeah, that is a good point. I guess that they would have probably taken that for evidence if they found something like that, just to be sure.
Yeah, if it was in his possession, if it was downstairs in the basement, if it was in the Elantra, I think they would have noted that. If it was in his possession or immediate area. Now, if he hid it amongst his sister things, I mean that's kind of like brass because his sister, or his mom could find it at any point. And
so, what do you think's on his lips though? Because that looks like more than just chapstick. I don't know.
I have no idea. I mean,
another thing, like, look at his nose here. Is it me or is like his nose going to the left?
It is his nose. He has a resemblance of a broken nose from beforehand.
And that's what I was saying earlier. Take notice from his nose over time, and I definitely see a clear difference between his nose here and pre-crime.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if this guy was using his sister's lip gloss and like putting it on something and making out with it. Like that's the kind of person he throws vibes off. He's like a peeping Tom. He's a weirdo.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He's probably putting his sister's lipstick on something and making out with it.
Or just putting it on just to see. I don't know. But look, his eyebrows look like he got them waxed again over here.
It does. It does.
Which means that he's very vain.
I think he is. I mean, all these selfies that he's taken over this time, he never sent them to anybody. These were all to himself and for himself.
Oh my God, that is so crazy to me. I feel like these pictures, he's trying to highlight the fact that you could see his, like how thin he is. Like, I feel like, what is that in the background? I thought that was lipstick. I almost died.
Oh, I think that's a pen. That looks like a couple of pens. Yeah.
Is he in the bed? Oh, he's in the
kitchen.
Oh, there's a Brita water thing. I see it.
Yeah, he's in the kitchen.
Oh, is that a beer bottle?
That could be dish soap.
Dish soap. Oh, I guess it could be dish soap. I say it.
Yeah.
The reason I was asking though was because when I was reading the some of the newer documents, they were saying that like there was more than one person that said when they went to one of like where they tried to get people to meet each other, that the one time he 100% bought a bottle of wine and drank the whole thing. And there was more than one person that reported it. So that says to me that if he's an addict and he's sober, it only takes a sip of something. Like I tell people, it's like a light switch. So the gene would be the light switch. It's not turned on, but then you have a binge of some sort. You turn that gene for addiction on. If you then get clean, the gene doesn't turn off. It just, think of it as like a dimmer. It goes all the way down and it's like all the way dim. So it only takes a tiny bit of something to flick it back on. So when you were saying, do I think he could be on something? Now that I think about it, because after I thought that was a beer bottle, but now that I think about it, it reminded me that someone said that he bought and drank the entire bottle of wine, which then, and didn't Bundy drink?
He may have, but his face don't look drunk. He'd
not there. No, not there. I know what I'm saying is, could he have binged that one night, which made his addiction come back for him? So not that he used alcohol after that, but that the alcohol could have like turned that gene for, wanting to get high back on.
It's a good possibility. I'm not familiar with how, alcohol affects the, an addict from, uh,
It's the same way. It's a substance. A substance is a
correct.
substance is a substance.
I'm sure that the alcohol will give you the I don't care attitude, and then maybe perhaps you end up falling into something. Like if somebody offers you something, you may be less likely to turn it down under the influence of alcohol, and you may have gotten back into something that night. If he's hanging out with the certain individuals, it's also an excuse so that you could do something of that nature. So I wouldn't be surprised if he used it as that. Now,
Seriously. And I think Bundy did use it before his crimes.
I think so. And this is an image in the background. I think that's a table. It looks like there's a reflection coming onto the table. It's like a darker colored reflection. I'm assuming this picture was taken at night, and that looks almost like a window on the reflection on a table there of the nighttime. What do you think?
It looks to me around like evening time. I don't know how late it is, but I don't know. That could be a light in another room. So I'm not really sure. But either way, right? Where's his family at? Like he feels comfortable enough to walk around half naked. Like he doesn't I would assume that he doesn't. And look, he's got does he have those Nikes on? He has on the pants and the Nikes.
So does have on the Nikes though. Are these the same pants? They might be. They look pretty tight.
He definitely went to Ross Dress for Less before he came home.
Dude.
I'm surprised that he would wear pants. I think what he's trying to do here is show that V that a lot of people would say is like sexy or whatever. But at the same time, he's also like showing, I don't know.
I have no
I'm not
idea.
body shaming. I'm just saying, I feel like he's doing this on purpose. I feel like he wants us to, or just anyone, he wants to see for himself. Look, there goes those. Could that be the baggies he was putting stuff in?
I think so. It's his good sense, maybe.
Yeah. It's like the, yeah, absolutely. It's like like when you go to Dollar General, I think that's one of the Dollar General brands. And I think that was like a Dollar General bag.
It could be. Does look like a trash bag. I don't know what this green thing is. Does look like pens. Lamp is on. Light is on.
But he like clearly is comfortable not thinking that someone's going to come out. Because my thing is like, I don't know that it's, look, he's like all over the house. Because he was just in the kitchen. Now he's in a different room. Is this on the same day?
I believe so.
At the clock. I just said it looks like early evening.
Yeah, it looks about
5:30ish.
It could be early morning.
It could be early morning. No, he seems more of a night person. Although it could be, like you said, early morning into him. That's just staying up all night.
Yeah.
That is so. He's definitely trying to flex here. Like, I feel like the point of this picture is so that you could see his physique or what he thinks is a nice physique. Like, I feel like by seeing his shoulder and stuff, like, and I feel like, I don't know. He's trying to definitely, and look at it. He looks like so proud in this picture, and he's white knuckling it again.
Yeah.
What is he doing there with his hand?
Looks inappropriate to me.
Doesn't it?
He's a weirdo.
And the fact that some of the pictures are in the kitchen and other ones are like in the dining room, that means he was like walking around half naked.
Yeah. And in the early evening hours, maybe his parents do the same. They're just walking around flexing. They don't.
A few people said it looks like he's like he was making the stabbing move, which I thought in the other one with the white knuckles. So I do see that.
See, I thought that this was almost like he was gonna stab himself.
Oh.
But I don't know.
Possibly where the other ones looked like they were going outward.
This one too.
Like
this one also looks coming inward. If that's what it is, I think he's just trying really hard. He could just
be flexing. Exactly. He could just be trying really hard to. And again, you see like the lines in the chest and then his ribs. I think he's purposely taking this because he's trying to get. If you have an eating disorder, this is like what you're trying to get right now is to show, like when you have that little thing right here. Like I feel like that's a lot of things that someone with an eating disorder.
Clavicle?
Yes, that's the word. Yes, thank you. And I feel like that's a lot of the bones that somebody with anorexia and stuff like that look for. And so I feel like that picture, just as much as it could be him, pretending something else, it could also just be him trying to get the perfect picture of all the bones that you could see.
This guy looks wired here.
Yeah. His
Just looks
eyes are
wired.
all. Well, so here he looks wired, but I forgot. This is the one where we see his sleeve pulled up. I think and again, this is just my opinion, I think he could have thrown up here.
His eyes aren't red. That's the only thing that's weird.
Yeah, but if you're throwing up often, your eyes wouldn't get red because your body would be more used to elimination.
Yeah.
That looks like throw up, right?
Yeah, it does.
And
it
then the
looks
toilet in the background. That's
he did this with his shirt, like clean.
Well, this is the thing. When people with bulimia, when you throw up, it's a very violent act. So people, like, you literally shove your whole hand down your throat if you have to. So he would be throwing up a lot of things. So yes, he could have either wiped it off that way. The fact that you caught the one with his sleeve up just says to me that like at first I was like, oh, maybe. And then when I saw that, I'm like, oh, that almost probably is that. And we know that he had an eating disorder because he spent time in like an eating disorder hospital.
Yeah, he did. And those pictures he took of his butt, he's not taking them because he's conscientious about what he looks like in them. And I think that's an indication. It seems like he looked disgusted in those images, and it looks like he's lost weight after those images.
That's exactly it.
And so
that's exactly it. I said when he took that one picture, right, he looks like disgusted, like anybody would if we bought jeans that didn't fit. And then by the end, he's wearing those jeans.
Yeah, but I mean, you don't need to take a picture when they're that tight, No,
you're right. But I mean, by the end where he's like looks thinner and he's taking those pictures, they're the jeans that he's wearing.
Oh, that's true.
So like, in other words, like you're saying, to your point, he could have lost weight and now he fits those jeans.
Yeah.
And again, why would he do that? Because he feels out of control, and throwing up or restricting your food is one of the few things that we have control over as human beings in our life. Like, you can't make me swallow my food, right? Only I could do that. So it's like, it's a disorder of control. And I would assume that at this point, he's feeling more out of control. It's getting closer to when he's getting arrested. He knows what's on the news. We have pictures of, like, he was looking at Nancy Grace and stuff. So God only knows, she probably scared the shit out of him. She scared the shit out of me and I didn't do nothing. So, you know what I mean? So it's like, who knows? So he could have felt very out of control in that situation. And by restricting food, it made him feel like he was in control, because at the end there, I don't know, he just looks like he's proud of himself too, which I don't like.
Yeah. And I think there's definitely pride and confidence after the murders. You can see that in his images. In some of them he looks wired. I mean, it could be the paranoia kicking in too, in those, because he was paranoid. He felt the pressure of law enforcement coming down on him. That's for sure.
Yeah, but he doesn't look very paranoid in some of those pictures. I mean, that doesn't mean that he wasn't paranoid, but doesn't he look like he looks comfortable as hell in those pictures at his mom's house? I feel like his mom gives him a false sense of comfort.
That's a good possibility.
Like, even now that he's away, I feel like she still is giving him a false sense of comfort.
I think they give each other that.
Yes, that's a good point. I think they give each other that 1,000%, which, as someone who has a specialization in marriage and family therapy, that's a huge red flag for what goes on with her relationship with the husband. Like, what's missing there that she's got all this time to spend on the phone with the son?
It's weird.
They're on the phone for hours and hours and hours. So like, that has to be taking away from her relationship with the dad.
Maybe he's tired of her.
So I guess that's my point. But that's my point too, right? Because that could be a possibility. So my point is that somebody who studies marriage and family therapy, I think that it's a red flag. Again, like you said, at first I said, I think they had that dynamic where it was abnormal, but like you said, maybe it's reciprocal. So he's getting just as much as she's getting from him, which then tells me that dad is checked out somewhere. which is leaving the room for her. Like, she's literally on the phone with him for so many hours a day. I don't know how she could have done much other than speak with him all day. Like, and my thing is, like, didn't they think that was weird?
They
Like,
did think it was weird.
Talk to him that much?
The Cellbrite folks called it incestual.
Yes.
And so, yeah, it was pretty weird. And to me, I just think that, you know, if you look at some of the things that she was putting out there, now, obviously she's going to miss her son, or somebody's child goes across country. There's going to be emotion and things of that nature. You know, but she was putting it out there that she missed them and all this other stuff. It sounded like they weren't in very much communication. And so, it's just interesting. It's weird.
Oh, they weren't in a lot of communication.
No. It sounded like when she was like, "Oh, I can't wait to see him," blah, 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 blah. I haven't seen him since this date and that date. It sounds like they were distant while he was gone. And I don't think that was the case.
No, I don't either. And this is the thing. So my mom, when she leaves, she like rocks back and forth when she hugs you. Like, literally, if you're a neighbor, you think that we haven't seen each other in a year and we're not going to see each other for a year, but we're going to see each other tomorrow night type thing. And that's a big Italian thing. So it could be that his mom is just a dramatic Italian that's like, I haven't seen my son, but that doesn't mean that she didn't talk to him for 4 hours today.
Right. No, I agree. I was just
it is incestuous though. Like, I agree with that. That's a great word for it.
It is weird. It is weird,
So weird.
how dramatic Bryan Kohberger also became if he couldn't get a hold of his mom. You know, he would text
That
her.
had to get some, like, I don't care how close of a relationship you have. Even when they said, like, the mom at the one point was like, your dad's in the he's in the garage, like, working on something, he'll call you back. So it's like, even in that, like, shows me that it did get in between the mom and dad in some sense. So even if they weren't fighting, but her saying, like, dad's in the thing, like, he'll get back to you. So it just showed that she even had to know that it was a bit much.
Yeah.
Mother, where's father?
And now in 5 minutes, Brian, I told you at this time. What about now? Let's say, like, geez, dude, it's weird. It's weird. Very Norman Bates.
Very.
He was trying to be Patrick Bateman and turned into Norman Bates. That's what it.
Very.
That's what it
That
like.
is such a good one. Yeah, absolutely. And who knows? He probably watched that too.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised. And I mean, he was taking notes from other places. You know, that whole birthing hips comment is from the movie Dark Shadows, where Johnny Depp is a weirdo vampire, socially awkward, and that's what he's attracted to. And he's like, when he's talking about this girl that he's in love with, he says she has the greatest birthing hips that he's ever seen.
Oh, there you go. Oh,
Yeah.
there you go.
And so I think he took inspiration. I think he saw himself in these weird, social, awkward people and characters.
Me too. And again, I think a big part of it was him searching for an identity. And then he sees that he's not the only one that feels, you know, on the fringe, that there's other people that do too, even if they're fictional characters. Somebody says something good that I want to ask you. They said the digital people said that one shirtless selfie, mothers in the background. What?
It's not in the ones that they showed, but I'll go through and
Oh,
go
God.
back.
Could you imagine though, like, if he felt that comfortable that, like, it's just no big deal and the mom's just like there?
She would have to be in the background here.
Oh no, they said that the people from Cellbrite said it, but it necessarily didn't come out yet.
Oh, okay.
But if
If
we
that-
see that,
She's over here clapping like Hercules.
Hercules, I'm dead.
I'm just saying, I feel like that would be the interaction there.
Hercules.
Yeah. And Connor makes a good point. This is also the dead of winter. So it's cold outside.
It definitely is. And he's up the mountains. So it's even colder up there. So, like, even when it's like we're only an hour away, but it could be like, 70 here and be like 50 up there. So he's even in a colder area.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hercules. Now that's all I'm going to be thinking in my head.
You're going to have to watch The Nutty Professor now.
Yeah,
I
am the Nutty Professor.
There you go. And so, well, we went through all the pictures. We've seen them all. We've talked about Bryan Kohberger. What do you have going on next?
I have the entire case file of Mackenzie Shrilla. You guys, I am like really, I'm a little bit much with this case. And this is how I felt like I was in the beginning with Kohberger. But I feel like with her, I mean, I just see personality disorder all over her, but I have the entire case file. I have like all like 50 something gigs of her Instagram. I have all of it. So I've been reading her text messages between her and Dom, and I'll be doing more of that a lot this week. So I went live like 4 times this week, twice or maybe 5 times. I went live twice in one day because I wanted to know what happened next. And I was like, why would I do that? And then read it again. So I just went live again and read it. So at any moment, you guys, I could just go live and just start reading. And then, you know, because I plan to like document it all.
Interesting. I have majority of the files in the Timothy D's case, and that's what actually I'm going to be covering tomorrow, unless something else breaks and something else. You know, that's more like in the moment, true crime. Like, you know, we had to pivot and adjust with the Charlie Kirk assassination. You know, if nothing, you know, major breaks or anything like that in any true crime case, tomorrow I plan on playing the audio for one of the interviews with Timothy Dees' possible person that I believe, my speculation, could be involved in his death. We're going to listen to his interrogation. There's a lot of things that he says in there that throw out some red flags. So we're going to be listening to that tomorrow. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you go follow.
Is there
Dr.
anything, real quick, is there anything that you made on that case that I could like get caught up?
Yes, I have my interview with her that I've made, and I have done the interrogation tape. So those are the only 2 videos that we've put out there as of now. I would recommend the video with, and I'll post it in the comment section.
I guess that's what I was asking. What do you recommend that we watch to get caught up?
Yeah, I would recommend watching that. And tomorrow night, I plan on and intend on doing a pretty extensive background on where we're at prior to this, to listening to the interrogation. But long story short, Timothy Dees goes out to his friend's town, the only person he knows. He ends up calling 911 about 4:40 in the morning, saying that his friend is threatening him. His body is found within 200 yards away from where he called 911, where law enforcement arrived. Now, there was 5 months between the time that he called 911 and his remains were found. But when officers arrived after he called 911, they arrested a relative of his friend who he went to go visit. His name's Caleb Nanny. They arrested his cousin, Caleb Nanny's cousin. I think his name's like Trevor or something of that nature. And they arrested him because he had a warrant, but he was described as being super agitative and uncooperative with law enforcement when they got there. They arrest him. They end up going back and arresting Caleb Nanny for a warrant and also for a gas drive-off that he and Timothy had done. And so in between that time that they arrested him and the time that Timothy Dees calls 911, Caleb Nanny is threatening Timothy Dees. He threatens him multiple times. And he stops threatening him at 8:31 that morning. Timothy Dees, Caleb Nanny ends up getting arrested around, according to police documents, it's at 9 a.m., but it doesn't jive with the screenshots of the text messages that we have between Caleb Nanny and a friend of his, where at 10 a.m. he's messaging his friend saying, hey, I need some money or else I'm going to go to jail. So he hasn't been arrested yet. He's not in custody, and he's asking for money, and this is an hour after the fact. And so there's a lot of like suspicious things that are going on in that case when it comes to the law enforcement that are involved. Was
he the guy that you said after he came out of jail, he didn't look?
He never looked for him. Yeah, I never looked for him, never messaged him, never did anything. We have video of him.
And he like promised the mom that he would help her look.
Yeah, and law enforcement. He was like, man, as soon as I get out of here, I'm going to help look.
So
I'm going to help find him. You know, I feel like I know where he can go. He also came up with this story about Timothy Dees finding an ID and a birth certificate and a social security card randomly at his house by kicking a box. And he just randomly found this. And that he came up with this thought that Timothy Dees must have gone off and changed his identity. The identification that they were talking about was, one, for a woman, and two, I have a video where he's telling his sister hey, remember that ID and stuff that we found? Not that Timothy found, but that they had found. And so he's linking Timothy with items that they probably stole and trying to account for why Timothy is missing. You get what I'm saying? And so he's lying for those things. And why would somebody lie in those for those reasons? Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, why aren't law enforcement looking at it? Why aren't the cops, going after him? My opinion alone is I think that there's they don't want the area to be investigated. The chief of police in that area is kind of suspicious to me. And the reason behind that is everything that he touches has been struck by lightning. Everything that he touches that involves the case, whether it be ATM footage.
Oh, yeah, he's lost a bunch of stuff, right?
Yeah, or body cam footage of an altercation that occurred where the judge, so Timothy's body was found on a judge's property. That same judge, his wife, told Timothy D's mom, Barbara Hall, something to the effect that you're never going to find out what happened to your son, so stop looking.
That's terrible.
And that footage got destroyed.
Of course it did. That's shady.
Yeah. And so also within 200 yards of where, so there's like this triangle. I point out a triangle. You have the area where Timothy D's called 911, which is right outside of his friend's house. That's where he called 911 saying his friend was threatening him. His body's found, 200 yards to the, if you were to go kind of up and to the left a little bit, 200 yards up and to the right, cadaver dogs hit on a storage unit. So it was pretty close to each other, all within 200 yards of each other. And the storage unit belonged to a police officer.
Oh, there you go.
They didn't search it. Even though law enforcement put in the documents that they did, Barbara Hall talked to other law enforcement officers that were there on the scene, and they fabricated that information. It was never searched.
That's so shady. I think the mom's in the chat.
Yeah, I see Barbara. There you go. I see you.
Barbara, I'm going to look into it too, Barbara.
Yeah, I'm going to be talking about it tomorrow.
Okay.
And so, there's a lot of things that just don't add up. And to me, it sounds like I'm fairly positive that law enforcement had little or nothing to do with Timothy's death. But I feel like they're trying to cover up something, whether it's that they utilize Caleb as a druggie, like, in these small towns, because this is a small town, right, with little law enforcement in the area. And you have a situation where a big fish in a small pond, when you have one law enforcement group in the area that's kind of in charge of everything. In those scenarios, corruption can occur. Not saying that it can't occur in other places, but it's more easier to cover up your tracks in smaller locations with less law enforcement agencies around. The more law enforcement, the more agencies, the bigger the department, the harder it becomes hiding it from other officers and other agencies. And so I wouldn't be surprised if somebody's doing or selling something that they shouldn't, or giving back out into the public something that they shouldn't, and they don't want it to be investigated.
Well, how many cases have we seen lately where Ellie, or the sheriff or whatever, has been doing something shady? So I totally could. And again, what if they even did something, covered, even if it wasn't like you said, something big, maybe they're using somebody as to give them information, whatever the case may be. It definitely sounds fishy. It
is. And some people are asking does he have connection to law enforcement? He could be a CI. And, I don't know those things, but I do know that it just doesn't, it appears that they don't want to investigate it. There's the evidence there. Steve from True Crime Web presented the evidence. The pants on Timothy D's remains were pulled down in the opposite direction of the flow of the river. So it doesn't make any sense. And I gotta look into that. Yeah, you have the teeth that were missing on the scene and then miraculously put back in without any documentation as to why or when. Once the skeletal remains, arrive at the coroner's office. To me, the only reason you do that is if you don't want it to be foul play. because it's two very different investigations that go on when you have like a missing person and you have somebody who dies from undetermined reason, and then somebody who dies as a result of foul play. Somebody who dies as a result of foul play, you start looking into a lot of things. You start getting access into things. All right, his friend said he threatened him. Well, now you actually have, injury. You have foul play. You have his friend, the only person that he knows. Now you have the ability to get a warrant. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so without the tooth missing, you have the friend's statement saying that he ran off and was acting crazy. It's a he said, she said. I mean, I still think you got PC there to be able to go and pull a warrant for the guy's phone and stuff. But it's a little bit more difficult, than if you had the signs of foul play. And so to me, it's a pretty easy dot to connect there of what's going on here. And it very much seems like they're protecting someone. I'm not necessarily saying that they're protecting Caleb Nanny. I think he's a result of protecting someone else.
Well, let's look into it and try to figure it out.
Let's do it. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, guys.
Thank you, everybody, for coming. And Hercules.
If you get nightmares of Bryan Kohberger tonight, I'm sorry, but don't blame me. You guys have a great night. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.